Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Um, so I'm feeling a ginormous amount of energy around doing a reading today. I woke up that way and just felt all this momentum, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have time. But my whole day got rearranged. I was going to have a session in the afternoon that got pushed to the morning, and so yeah. And this session that I just had, it was probably the most powerful one that I've ever had. In like 15 years. Which makes sense because we're incrementally, especially in these energies, things are really heightening and we're able to make moves that we weren't able to make before. And our gifts are coming online, so everything's really heightening. But anyway, so I'm just out of that session. There was so much information that came through that really felt like it was connected to the collective. I haven't integrated any of it. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I just knew that I felt really guided to come on here today and that it happened to land right after this session. So I'm just going to dive in and just see what comes out in relation to the cards that are pulled and just trust whatever message wants to be said and for whatever reason. So, okay. So oh, wow. Okay, so the first card that we get for the overall energy is Peacock Spirit, Let It Shine. So that's interesting, and that's a 10 card, 10s being a card of completion. That's absolutely what I'm feeling, what I felt in this session right now, if we were to summarize the whole thing, because it was so much more than this. But basically in the readings as well that I've been doing the last week is that people are completing really old patterns, really old things within themselves, myself included, closing out chapters where there's the higher timeline, basically the higher timeline. I'm seeing it with everyone. It doesn't matter if you've been working on the spiritual path for decades, or if you're like really encased in like anger and resentment or victim right now, or if you're 21, or if you're 67. It's like every single person that I've been reading for and even talking to is moving into this whole new expression, but it's the expression of our souls, of our true divinity. It's the higher timeline. It's like phase one of the journey is over and we're stepping into something else. So there are a lot of alchemies happening right now, a lot of situations, that divine timing and that cosmic setup to have all the right pieces in place, all the right people in place, all the right circumstances in place, and sometimes to give you a crunch. So again, the people that are really in the darkness and really feeling like they're completely unraveling, they're clearing something in that space. And then people that are really in the light right now and really shining, they're really holding space, or whatever it is, whatever expression, whichever archetype, whichever expression along the continuum or the cycle of all that's possible to be. It's all actually about this. All about this. It's about up leveling. It's about coming into our sovereignty, coming into the fullest expression, which wasn't possible before. Okay, so we get the Seven of Pentacles and we get the Call. The Call is judgment in this deck. So again, a judgment has been made that's in the best interest of all. It's like that node point. The major arcana indicate divine timing. There's something collectively going on where it's like she's blowing the horn and all of us are like, what? Like, oh, right, that's our cue. That's our cue. You just something in you. We're in the middle of this process. It's a process. It's a process, and wherever you're at, like I was saying, wherever you're at in that process, it's still a part of this. It's still a part of hearing that call. It's still part of hearing that call, and the call is to come home to our souls. To come the whole way home. It's almost like the time for dabbling is over. The time for strengthening those neural pathways, or there's something about this time that feels like it's like this. It's time. It's time. Like, hear the call. It's time to hear the call. And all the places that you haven't been hearing the call, and all the places that you could get away with being a little bit lazy or a little sloppy or a little, you could ignore yourself and it was okay. It's not like, oh, you better do it now or you're going to have to leave the planet or anything like that. I mean, maybe for some people it is, but it's more like you can't ignore the call anymore. You can't ignore it because it's getting so loud. It's like your soul is getting so loud. So again, it's that shine. It's getting so loud. So whatever areas you need to clean up are going to be really, really loud. Whatever gifts have been dormant are starting to get louder. whatever, whatever guidance. Like me this morning, I was like, I'm doing a reading. I hear it. It's like it's just the energy's there. It's like you can't ignore it. But why? Because we've been doing so much clearing and so much alchemy that it's not as covered up. So that's what I've been talking about in the last couple readings. Ever since that kind of like power wash reading with the thaw, where everything was thawing, it's like, there's just more room to hear, and sometimes part of the process of having more room to hear is that you can't hear it all because you're clearing something so deep and so dark and so far back, like galactic origins. This session today had galactic origins. We were so far back in the separation and in the darkness, which is a part of the light, which is in service to the light. But we were so far into a polarity that beyond what we're feeling at this point in human evolution, we have darkness here, we have evil, we have still that spiritual warfare going on, and that play between all of the expressions that can be here. But the level of darkness that existed in its pure raw form in eons ago when we were in the galactic wars. It's like when you start to feel that energy again and you feel that moving through you, it's really intense, because we don't really feel that now. We can feel hookups to it that link us back there, but when you're clearing something that dark and that deep, it's really, really, really intense. But it's also clearing the way, it's clearing the pathway. And so I think the reason why I was really guided to come on here today is because what I became aware of is that there are really, 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 really huge clearings going on right now that are reaching really, really, really far back and reaching on galactic levels. So if you're in the midst of a clearing and it's feeling really, really heavy to you, to the point where you feel like you can't, you don't even want to be here anymore, or that you can't do it, just know that you can do it, and that it's part of a larger process, that your soul signed up for this, and that you're one of the warriors. You're one of the warriors who are connecting in this life now with things that need to be cleared up, that are being cleared up on a galactic level. There's something coming up right now around Betelgeuse. And not the movie. All of the movies are created or channeled or purposely put out there on some level, conscious or unconscious, to illuminate and indicate and have a conversation with the subconscious of humanity around actual things. So there is an actual Betelgeuse, and I don't know anything about it. I just know it's coming up, and it came up in this session, and it's been coming up previously. And of course there's that movie, but there's a reason for that. There's a reason. There's something about the frequency of Betelgeuse that's coming through right now. I don't know anything about it from external, but I feel it's connected to Orion. I feel like it's connected to the Orion Wars. I feel like it's connected to, and this video isn't going to be for everybody. This is going to be an out there one. It's only going to be for some people. So if it's too out there for you, you can catch me another week. But this is just for whoever it resonates with. But anyway, so there's something about the Orion and Lyran wars, which have been harmonizing for a while now. I started seeing the Lyran aspect of people in sessions, probably started maybe like 4 months ago. So there was some harmonization around that. Okay. So, but what's interesting, and this was coming up in the last reading, where there was that blocked energy that came up in the beginning, and then underneath it was what was it? It was rupture or something like that. So it's like the dams had broken and the blocks were being removed. Again, the light is shining, but I was saying, like, it's almost like we got so used to the tilt, or so used to the misalignment, or so used to living without all of our access, that it's almost like jarring. It's almost jarring to have it open. Okay, and so. And so having to go slow with yourselves, because there's a lot of like trauma response and PTSD and that kind of thing that a lot of us are still working through, that kicks up, that just makes you really nervous, where you want to freeze, but just to go really, really slow, and to know this is a process. And so, okay, so there's something similar to that with the healing of the Lyran Orion Wars, which again, I was talking about this several readings ago, the healing of the Lemurian Atlantean timelines, the healing of the Jesus Magdalene timelines, where anywhere there was a split. Okay, we're at this point in human evolution where we're feeling that split again, we're feeling that split again. So there's this crucial choice point, this crucial choice point that we're in, okay? And so while on the one hand, speaking on many different levels here, where on the one hand there is this unification happening, the unification itself is triggering the trauma. It's triggering the trauma not only in the sense that it's getting kicked up because it has to, because the unification is there, you know, where we have to feel that also, so we can clear it and push it the whole way out. But it's also being triggered because the energy is the same. You know what I mean? So I've said this before, on a descending, you know, on a descending age, we're going down, you know, lowering in frequency, and on an ascending age, we're raising in frequency. And there's this certain point, which is now, where you hit the same energetic signature, the same frequency, the same output transmissions as when you were going down, as when we were going down in frequency. So there's a bit of a wobble where there's a cellular recognition of, oh shit, last time we felt this way, there was earth catastrophe. Last time we felt this way, there was, you know, there was trouble, you know, there was trouble, things got bad. Now we are on an ascending age, so it's inevitable that the shine is happening. So it's like, again, the unification has already happened. But it's that thing of, you know, it's written, but we're walking it. We're here and we're walking it out. Okay, so it's important when we feel that wobble, there's a choice point going on in this moment. There's a choice point and there's a consciousness that's being required of humans. Yes, it's written. Yes, the unification has happened. Yes, it's already happening. Yes, it's inevitable. This is a card of inevitability as well. This is a process card. It's a cyclical card. It's a what's natural card. So it's inevitable. But, you know, there's a paradox. You know, there's a paradox in that it's written, but we still have to play our part. So part of how we're playing our part is we're getting triggered. We're getting triggered by the energetics of this moment, of this now moment, because the last time we felt this way, we were going down, you know, now we're going up. But we're remembering the situations that caused the downfall, and we're being asked to choose. We're being asked to choose all of our focus, our thoughts, our words, what we let into our bodies, through our eyes, through our ears, through our the energetics into our bodies, you know, through the foods that we're eating, the supplements, the people that we're allowing in all the various ways, energies that we're around, or more intimately, you know, we're being asked to choose and to pay attention to the frequency. Is the frequency of everything that we're choosing by focusing on it, we're choosing by letting it in, we choose by engaging. Are we choosing this? Are we choosing this? What's the frequency? We remember this. We remember this. It's cellular. It's in our DNA. You know, it's written on our souls. And so that discernment to do it right this time. Again, it can't be stopped. It's happening, but we have to play our part. So there's a lot in the energies right now around that, where we're stepping solidly and passionately and committedly, either consciously or unconsciously, onto the rise. And there's something really it's imperative, but it's not imperative as in like warning sign danger. It's like a node point imperative. It's a divine timing imperative. It's a meeting of the threads imperative. You know, so okay, let me pull some more. How long did I talk for? 13 minutes already. Wow. Okay, so that was just a channel right there. So we get the Page of Swords, so that's clearing away the cobwebs. Clearing away the cobwebs, so there it is again, you know, where we're at this point in the process. And there's the book, you know, there's what's written, there's the Akash, you know, we're having access to what's in our book. We're having access to our codes. These are the codes lighting up, coming on in our energetic field, through the new people that we're meeting, through the new encounters, through the new things that we're doing, through the new energies that are coming in, that are activating us, that are activating these codes from our Akash, that are reminding us. The same thing with this, you know, it's like some of those things that it's activating and reminding us of are of a negative frequency, where we can say, oh no, not that, you know, absolutely not that. Like if we have something in front of us and we're discerning whether it's this or that, you know, both ways are going to be loud. You know, if it's this, we're going to get a solid yes, and if it's this, we're going to get a solid no, because those codes and those memories and that access are coming online for us. Again, why? Because our souls are louder. And why are our souls louder? The 10 card, the 10 number. You know, we're completing we're completing cycles. And again, that node point of now, where all of this is happening at this point. At this point. Oh, wow. So the Page of Swords again. So we get this card 2 times in a row. So again, a lot of clearing. You know, this is like the activation card, but the activation card is the clearing. It's the clearing, the releasing of our memories, the releasing of more of ourselves. But at the same time, you know, it's again the 2 edges of the sword, the 2 edges of this coin. It's an activation and a remembrance, and it's also a clearing. So it's again that choice. You know, what are we releasing? What are we cutting out because it's the wrong energy? And what are we bringing in because it's the right energy? Even if we don't understand it, we don't know what it is, we don't know what it looks like. It has the energy of the rise. It has the energy of the new. It has the energy of the shine. And so that's what we're choosing. And how imperative it is, I am going to use that word, how imperative it is at this point in the process to choose that. To choose that which is imbued with soul, that which is imbued with the codes of our missions and why we're here. Discernment, exactly. So that's it. That's that discernment where you're really feeling into it, and just coming back into your center with every choice point, and not using your mind. Look, the mind is fogged out. You don't have a mind. The mind's not working. The mind doesn't know this terrain. You know, the mind doesn't know the invisible threads in our DNA. It can't read the Akasha. Only our hearts can. Only our souls. Only our guts. Only our spidey senses. So again, you know, shutting off the linear, shutting off the cognitive, you know, which includes the past, what has happened in the past, and the traumas, and the hypervigilance, and the PTSD, and it includes the projections of the future, of what we've been conditioned to think things are supposed to look like or be like. There's a big delivery truck outside right now, so we might hear that. But again, and she's holding that golden age, she's holding that golden world, she's holding that golden sun. That's what she's cherishing. Yeah, cherishing. That's what she's attuning herself to, and what she's valuing the most. And so turning off the mind and allowing yourself to feel into your center, into your spiritual center, and discern about everything, about everything, you know. So I had this example where I had this supplement that I bought, you know, and I felt guided to get it, and it felt symbolic, and it felt synchronistic and connected and all that. And so, and I think it was part of the process, because again, sometimes we get led into things that end up being wrong or off, just so we can unravel, just so we can untie part of the knot. And so I bought this supplement thinking that it was one thing, you know, I had all this list of, like, you know, all naturally sourced food-based things and all these like wonderful ingredients that I knew, and all this, I felt really right to do it. And then when I got it, it was a total scam. Like, it hardly had any of those ingredients. And but it had a few of them. And even though, like, I knew the integrity of the company was off, because they had false advertising, and they, you know, had this big charade of like everything they were doing, and, you know, it was off. There were like a few ingredients that were really powerful that I was happy to have. And so I took it anyway, you know, even though the like inception point of this product was wrong and off, you know, and my discernment knew that. But I kind of like ignored that, and I went in my head, and I was like, yeah, but maybe it'll be okay, you know, I'll just take this. And it totally whacked out my energy field, and it like whacked out my sleep, and it threw me off, you know. So I had to see it. Look, this is another 10 card. Yeah, it's like the end of the line for this shit, you know, where it was like such a huge moment for me, where I just, you know, I stopped taking it, and I asked for my money back and whatever. But I felt like I let that distortion, I let the inception point of deception and lying, and I let it into my body, and I let it into my energy field, you know, because I wasn't valuing the I wasn't valuing this. Like in this golden age, it's like your intention matters, the words that you speak matters, what you the energy that you're in when you create something matters, how you advertise what you're creating matters. all of it matters. And if we're allowing things into our bodies or into our energy field or into anything that aren't coming from a place of integrity, then we're affecting the purity of our own circuitry. We're affecting it. We're allowing things to come in, and it just creates more cleanup for us. And it's like we can't afford that at this point in the game, because there's just going to be more and more deception. There's going to be more and more confusion. And I got really triggered, which again was part of that, like untying the knot, and I got to do some clearing around that, where I felt like I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to trust. I don't know what to trust, and I don't know what to do. And and it because I had some choices that I was needing to make in my life, like, well, in my, like I was saying the last time, some things that come in that you might, maybe in the past you wouldn't have wanted to do. So you're looking through the lens of the past and thinking with your mind and thinking, well, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. But when you tune into your soul and to the energy around it, and the energy in your heart and the energy in your gut, if you get a yes, then you do it. And if you get a no, then you don't. And it's that simple, because we might not understand the yeses and we might not even understand the no's, but it's imperative. I guess that's just the word I keep using. It's imperative at this point to fine tune that dialogue with our inner selves, so that we can be maneuvering on our soul paths and not on the path of deception, and not on the path of trickery, which is all around us. Again, if you can't discern, through your mind what's going on, and you feel confused, it's like just bring it back into your energy centers, the energy centers where you can access your soul and you can access your higher knowing, and allow that to guide you. And again, see that there, the portal of the heart, the portal of the heart, and all these sort of like third eyes and the blue of the, the open chakra there. And although even that, that's a topic for another day, but it's like so much of what we know has been distorted. So much of what we know, and even a lot in the spiritual community, has been distorted and has deception in it. And so just kind of a time of like questioning everything, even the words that we're using, or how we frame things, and pausing like that, even just saying third eye or saying chakra, something in me jiggled, it's like, is that even true? Like, it's like a house of mirrors. It's a house of mirrors. So again, I'm on a certain brainwave here, and if we're not on it together and I'm not making any sense, that's okay. There might be little pieces that stick out for you, but I feel like some people know what I'm talking about. Some people know what I'm talking about. Just the layers and layers, the house of mirrors, the confusing, like little bits of truth and then a lie, little bits of truth and then a lie, little bits of truth and then a lie. And you can't ignore the lies. You might be feeling a bunch of truth, but if you feel something that pops up that says lie, that is a fucking lie, and to use that discernment and to not override that. So then you can pick out the pieces that make sense to you, but don't take in the stuff that's not, don't ignore it just because it feels too complicated to sift through it. Note when something in your energy field goes, that's not right, there's something wrong, and just kind of isolate it, just kind of notice it and stick it over there. It's like, just be vigilant with the subtleties. Pay attention. But again, the access is there. We do have more access than we did before. So we weren't going to get to this node point where it's like, woo, there's something going on right now where we got to really be vigilant, unless we were able to, because again, it is all written, right? So we're playing our human roles. And we're hearing the call. And if we're not hearing the call, then we're guided to watch a video like this, where we're like, oh yes, that resonates. Now I'm hearing the call, where somebody that hears it first can kind of be like, hey, do you hear it now too? And this discernment. And so the importance of that in this moment. Okay. Oh yeah, exactly. Phenomenon in disguise. So there's the deception, there's the trickery, there's the covering up, the covering up of that which is true, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to peel back the layers to get back to the truth, the truth of this realm, the natural harmonics, the natural frequencies of this realm, despite everything that's covering it up and pretending to be something else, and using your inner discernment and your spidey senses and your gut and your heart and your knowing to discern and to know what's a disguise, and to not ignore that, to not ignore that in yourself just because other people might not be able to see through it, or just because people maybe that you're close to or people that you have interacted with are playing this disguise, but to put again your own shine and your own soul before everything else, and to really have that be your intention. Where was the intention? There was something with intention, one of these cards, I don't remember, maybe it was this one, or maybe it's just right now, having that intention to choose this. That's where it was, to choose this, to when you come to this level and you're like, whoa, this is really similar, so what in this mix, what in this soup, what in this now moment, that discernment is of the old, is of that old frequency, which we know. We might not know what it is, but we can feel it, because a lot of us have been around the wheel, and we've walked through those fires, and we've walked through those genetic mutilations, and we walked through those wars, those galactic wars, and we've walked through that abandonment and that exile and whatever it was, and we recognize the frequency of it, and we recognize in our souls know the choice points that led to that. And so when you feel that wobble, like don't go to sleep. This is an opportunity for more people to awaken. A lot of people have already kind of awakened to this kind of energy. If you've ever lived with or been swallowed or devoured by a narcissist or a sociopath or cult-like type stuff, then you know this. You've already been initiated. You've already been initiated, and a lot of people haven't yet. So it's like the wolf in sheep's clothing. Where a lot of people, and those of us that this reading is probably for mostly, or that's making sense to us for, we did sign up, and we did get initiated to go first for this time, so that we can help energetically lead the way, while there's a lot of this in the field, a lot of disguise, a lot of, and has been for a while, but again, that node point always, always, but it's being uncovered. Again, it's being uncovered, it's being unveiled, for to be seen more, so it's easier for people to see. Again, shining your light. The light is shining on the darker elements, on the deception. A lot of that deception is choosing to leave and wanting to leave, needing to leave. So a lot of us that are vessels or channels or transmuters, it's leaving through us. So a lot of our clearings and a lot of the things that might be coming up for you right now, if you are in a really intense place, you're clearing these energies from the planet, from the energetic sphere, the energetic soup that we're all in, moving through you, and knowing that you're safe, and knowing that there's a whole team of your soul family that's there with you. There are eyes on you. You're held. And you have to be in the dark, and you have to be alone to do those passages. But if you're doing it, then you signed up for it, and you're equipped, and you're not alone. You're being witnessed, and those of your brothers and sisters that aren't in the dark right now are in the light, holding for you and seeing, and this message being one of those moments, okay, one of those divinely timed outstretched hands for you to know that you're not alone, and to know that on the other side of this process is really the unveiling, the clearing of these energies for the world, but also for yourself and for your Kosh and for your access, where your gifts come on even more. So this passage is being very necessary. I think some people, especially the alchemists and the ones that really dive deep, are going through that right now. But again, that's part of the service, and helping clear the energy, clearing the energetic field, so that those that are needing to make decisions and choices in their lives will have an easier time, because that energy will be transmitting more clearly, because a lot of the astral and the etheric stuff that's been gunking it up will be cleared. You know what I mean? So so okay, so I know I'm making sense to some people, so I'll just keep going. All right, the phoenix, yeah, exactly. So there's that phoenix moment, that rising from the ashes, exactly what I was talking about for the transmuters and those that are going in and clearing for all. It's not just for you. It's not just in this lifetime. It goes back to the galactic wars. It goes back beyond what we can even remember. Clearing, rising up the energetic field on this planet, rising up the energetic field for others who are not doing this work or aren't aware. Rising it up, raising it up for yourself, for your lineage, for the collective, and beyond. Okay. I might keep this kind of short again. Yeah, I might keep this kind of short. So let me do this, and then I'll see where this goes. Yeah, the Two of Cups. So there's that alignment. We do have, I'm not using the word allies anymore. I'm not using that word. I'm not using that word because I learned more about what it means. We do have assistants. We have soul contracts. We have people coming into our lives that are assisting us, whether it's through energy work, like I was doing in the session. We were working together. You know, always in energy works. It's, you know, it's like I'm holding space, but I'm the manifestation of you and your where you're at and in your journey with your level of consciousness and the clearing work that you're doing. So it's always a collaboration. It's always a collaboration, and it's always rippling out for humanity as well. So whether it's in energy work that you're doing, or body work, or whatever it is, healing work that you're doing with other people, or whether it's in new connections that you're making, your soul family, it's like we're absolutely supported in these deep dives that we're doing. We're all about to do or are doing really deep dives. Some of it might be really intense and it might be really dark. Some of it might be really gentle, but just know, depending on what you signed up for and where you're at in your journey, but just knowing that it is supported, and that we're not doing this alone, and that those people, those contracts that you have where you're either resolving. I don't really feel like it's any more like we're resolving stuff with others, because that's kind of more karmic. And for a lot of us that are listening to these videos, at least, or resonating with this, we've already done the karmic stuff. You know, this is more about doing the deeper work for the collective, clearing up on all the levels, and about to do a really big piece, and a really big piece for empowerment. And so, you know, the people that were kind of waiting in the wings to do that with you are showing up now. You know, they're showing up, and it doesn't even have to be conscious. It doesn't even have to be something that you're aware of. It's just, it goes on behind the scenes, just being in their energy field, just being around them, and again, following your guidance, following your discernment, because it might be people or things that you wouldn't think like, if you were using your head, you wouldn't do it. You know, you might not do it. You might not. But if you're using your heart and your soul, regardless of how it looks, or whatever, if there's any kind of like strangeness or unconventionality to it, it doesn't matter. If your soul says yes, then do it, because you're reclaiming part of yourself, and you have contracts with these people to reclaim things, to remember things, to clear things for all. So a lot of big works going on right now, again, shining the light so that you can come into more of your power, but you're in your power enough to do this work. So, all right. Let's see if there's anything else. I might just go a little bit more, because that was kind of a beautiful message right at the end there that does seem very relevant and pertinent. Yeah, freedom. It's about your freedom. It's about the freedom of yourself. It's about the freedom of your lineage. It's about the freedom of the world, society, humanity, and beyond. This is about freedom. This is about freedom. These contracts, and what we're burning off, and what we're activating, and what we're rising up into within ourselves, our remembrance, our memories, our gifts, that which we have forgotten. That which is written on our souls that we have forgotten, being activated in the energy fields of our soul family, of those that we're contracted to be meeting and maneuvering with in these times, whether it's friendships or otherwise, work. You know, I do a lot of work with people, just a lot of you online, you know, just through Facebook, through our exchanges, through the synchronicities, through getting each other's codes, you know, just reading it. It's soul family, you know, and a lot of us finding each other and being like, oh my God, it's been so hard. And now, you know, I'm finding people that, you know, do these same kind of things that I do, you know, a lot of people saying that, you know, and supporting each other, but all of it flooding in, you know, the soul contracts in all the different ways, or finding that person that can help you with your process, you know, through body work, or through conversation, or finding that book, or, you know, whatever it is. But it's the exchange of souls, and it's exchange of codes that you need at this time to come into more of your power and more of your freedom. So that's really beautiful. But again, in some instances, the passageways are can be a little intense for some people, and depending on how much you chose to take on to transmute for humanity, the dragons, you know, the dragons, the realm walkers. But again, a lot with the deception, a lot with needing to use that discernment, to here comes Jeremy. Hi. that that discernment to choose between what is in alignment with your soul and what is an old pattern, but also what is trickery in our society, what is a deception, what is a confusion, what is a black hole, what is a, steering you off into the wrong direction, steering you off into a sub-reality, steering you off into more separation rather than coming back into unity with your soul. Because again, remember, this is about coming back into our power, into our sovereignty. So don't let the disguises and the trickery suck your energy away, or you don't have it intact. And we talk about this a lot in the readings. That one with the starting point of be fearless and bold, where it was like, stay true to yourself, stay true to your own discernment, even if nobody else is. Be one that's bringing more light, because the truth, the truth of the phenomenon, the truth of this reality, when it's not covered up, is that we're guided and we're supported. So again, that brings back the message of those that are holding the light and walking this path with you for the unveiling and the remembrance and that phoenix rising into more of your power and that freedom into yourself. So, okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to end on a goddess card. It's always good to end on a goddess, the goddess energy. So that's what's rising. Alliance. That's so funny, because I wasn't going to say ally. I wasn't going to say ally anymore, but here it is, that alliance. So driving that point home, regardless of which word you want to use, that's a 2 card as well. That's a 2 cards of the 2 of Cups. We have the 2, we have the partnership, we have the alliances, we have our comrades, we have those people that we arranged through that divine timing, through the node points in the book of our soul that was written, our soul blueprint written there. We're on chapter 5 now. Chapter 5, page 222 is when certain things come together, for the benefit of all, for the benefit of remembering, because the more of us that remember and access the codes and access the truth of who we are, the more of us that access the truth of this realm, the phenomenon, the full unveiled freedom of what's possible on this world and what we came for, and a lot of that fleshing out now through these alliances, through these partnerships and these pairings. So again, a lot more to unfold with that, but I'm gonna at least put that out for now, because I felt so guided to. Maybe I said a lot more than I think. I probably did. I feel like I didn't really say anything, but I often feel that way that I listen and I'm like, no, I said some stuff and there were codes in there. So may the codes, may whatever you were meant to hear that are activating and helpful and supportive or validating for you reach you. And otherwise, maybe I'll see you next time. Maybe the next reading will be more resonant for you, and we'll see where we're at. But again, I feel like something about right now, or maybe even today, something really powerful happening. I don't know what's going on with the solar weather. I'll have to look that up. There might be a lot, but it feels like there were some big moves today behind the scenes. I know that what happened in that session today with that woman and I was profound, and it rippled out. And I know when there's a ripple, again, just like this message with the allies, it's like when there's a ripple, when 2 of us come together when 2 of us come together in alliance and we do something, we spread waves, we spread freedom waves. When we clear within ourselves, we clear within all, and when we clear with another, it's even more powerful, and we're rippling out. So there were some ripples sent out today, but I know it wasn't just me and her and we didn't cause it, we're a part of it. So I know others were doing the same thing, around the world, and so and I also wanted to say, if anybody knows anything about Betelgeuse, what that is and what that represents, if anybody has, I remember hearing something a while ago, a few months ago, and being like, oh wait, but I never looked into it. It's like it wasn't time yet. So I feel like there's some unveiling with that. The one thing that I got intuitively is it's something about this like alchemized darkness. So something about like the Lyran and the Orion. There's a predator and there's a victim, right? So it's like when the predator victim, okay, so the harmonization of the Lyran Orion Wars, just as an example, it's like a harmonization of the predator victim polarity, where it collapses, that polarity collapses. And you may have done this in your life. I've done it in my personal life, where I've collapsed that polarity within myself. So I'm no longer attracted in the world, but I've also collapsed it with certain individuals that I played it out with, and now we're on a completely different level. We're in a higher space, a higher frequency together. So that stuff doesn't play out. So that's happening. That's happening in our world. Oh shit! I forgot what I was going to say. Hold on. I tried to say too many things at once. I'm just going to start saying words. and hold this card up and see if it comes back to me. So the Phoenix rising. What was I saying? The Lyran and the Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse, yeah. Okay, I got it. So something about that predator victim timeline collapse. There's an alchemy in that, and there's a code. There's a code of wholeness. There's a code of wholeness that's really, it's like the portal into the heart, because you have you've played both sides. You've played both sides, or you've played out a certain thing with some people. You know, you've played out that dynamic. But the connections that are coming through right now, what it feels like to me is that it holds this Betelgeuse energy. I don't know. This might just be it's definitely my interpretation, but I don't know if anybody else would agree or what. I could be way off base, but let's just use it as a entry point for this conversation anyway. There's something about the Betelgeuse frequency that represents this Phoenix rising energy where a certain polarity has collapsed. So again, the Lyran Orion wars collapse into wholeness, the separation of the divine masculine, the divine feminine within us, the separation collapsing, coming back into unity. You know, the Lemurian age and the technological descent of Atlantis having the opportunity to collapse and come back into wholeness, come back into the phenomenon and the truth of the frequency of this realm, aside from all the energetic distortion and overlays and fuzzing that fragments us, like that supplement that I took. It had this in the energy field, so it was fragging me. That's all around. Okay, so a lot of these things harmonizing. So the way I'm seeing the Betelgeuse is it's like the harmonized alchemy. That's risen into a new form. It's risen into a new form. So it holds the darkness. It holds the memory. Again, the memory. It holds the memory of that which destroyed us. That which destroyed us, which is echoed in the perpetrators of this lifetime or of other lifetimes, but it goes the whole way back to those original catastrophes that destroyed us. But it holds the alchemy of healing, holds the alchemy of wholeness. There's something to that. I don't have the whole piece. So if you have any more information about Betelgeuse or anything that comes to you as I'm throwing out these ideas, I would love to hear. And again, there's that soul work where we're putting things together and we're assisting each other, because we all have different pieces. So I absolutely invite that conversation. Also, somebody was bringing forward some things to me. Hello, if you're listening, about diamonds and 13, the number 13 rather than the 12, and this goes into the zodiac sign as well. We're capped at 12, but there's beyond. There's the 13, which also represents, again, like I said, we're going to end on a goddess number. It represents the goddess energy, the divine feminine energy, the rising up of that which has been separate, bringing it all back together. So yeah, there's a lot there. So yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a comprehensive message, but I am throwing out codes and patterns to see, and perhaps we can put them together. But there's a lot moving right now. There's a lot moving. So I'm really grateful for it. I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And I'm also grateful to be comfortable in the unknown and not knowing as this process unfolds, and just, seeing whatever patterns and pieces we have and activating each other through whatever piece we are guided to play. So, all right, much love to you. Thank you for listening. And let me know if you have any thoughts. All right, bye-bye.